By the way, that reminds me, The Master with Michael Keaton is a low-key really good movie, and his performance is really fun in it. But what really is interesting and a reason to watch it is the way that it very clearly shows the way that capitalism accelerates outside of any other considerations. Like that, nothing that I've seen very few movies that are better at exemplifying the Marx quote from the manifesto that describes capitalism's destabilizing relationship to settled social orders. Everything that is solid melts into air. And you watch that movie and that's what you get. Because the McDonald brothers did this, they had this like innovation that was a quantum leap in efficiency in terms of food service. That changes the entire equation of the profit, the potential profit in food service. But they did that in their small town New England way, you know, like a couple of flinty Yankee Republicans coming up with an idea. But they were doing that at a time when capitalism was accelerating, the post-war era where all that capital was looking for investment. And we were building out a new infrastructure of like consumer demand, and their commitment to things like we're only going to use real ice cream, and we're going to keep a quality control over certain elements of this thing. We're going to maintain certain like non-market based values. And they did well with their little thing, but as soon as Ray Kroc showed up, a guy who, because he was a failure basically, because he'd been chasing success his entire life, had been ground into this like purely miserable instrument of regret and resentment, he came along and he just wanted to fill that hole as fast as he could, because he was an old guy when it happened. He'd been like, he was in his 50s. And he had never been a success, even though he tried his goddamn ass off to be one. And so he wanted to fill that hole the only way he could. And of course, this is just this is a dramatic, personalized version of like the greater material, necessity that's going to make that happen one way or another. Like McDonald's gets bought and gets turned into McDonald's, no matter what. But the fact that it was Ray Kroc who did it comes down to, who Ray Kroc was. But someone was going to do it. And then his wife gave all that money to NPR. Perfect. He was a funny dude, though, in other ways. One thing they don't have in the movie, because it stops like after he wrests the name away from the McDonald brothers, spoiler alert, is that he owned the San Diego Padres in the 70s and 80s. And at one time, he was watching a game in the owner's box, and they were getting their asses kicked so bad that he went on the PA system in the stadium and apologized to the fans for how bad they were doing. Padres. He lived in San Diego. He would also go to McDonald's, like, just on inspection tours and start sweeping up and yell at people for not doing enough cleaning.
What are you doing? Come on. It's time to lean, it's time to clean. Let's go.